Bonjour y'all, it's Miss K. Today I'm making a marble pound cake, or black and white pound cake is the name of the recipe that I found on King Arthur Flour's website. Now, I'm doing a Bundt, so I really want to get in the creases here and make sure that my cake doesn't stick. I am too chicken to use sprays, so I actually use my pastry brush and paint in some of my pan coating, which is a mixture of vegetable shortening, flour, and cornstarch. You can just use vegetable shortening if you don't have a mixture that you use, and then I'll just dust it lightly with some flour. And if you have a more intricate Bundt pan, you really want to get in all those little tiny nooks and crannies. Et voila! I've dusted it with flour. For this cake, we're using the reverse cream method or the paste method. So for reverse creaming, we blend all of our dry ingredients with the butter. So in this bowl, we're going to put 250 grams of sugar, 300 grams of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 10 tablespoons or 140 grams of unsalted butter that is softened to room temperature. And then we're going to blend it together until it looks like sand. It's really important to have softened butter for this recipe, or this will take forever. And if you haven't done so already, now is a great time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Now these are dry ingredients, so we want to start on low. I'm using my stand mixer. You can most certainly use a hand mixer if that's what you have. Just go slow and slow until it looks like sand. Next thing we're going to add are 3 large eggs, and I put my vanilla in here with the eggs, and I need a cup of buttermilk to finish this off. So you can see the texture of it here. It's just very sandy, and if I did pick it up, I can clump it together with my hand. The butter is soft. Now this is a marble cake, so I need the chocolate part. So we're going to sift some cocoa powder with a pinch of espresso powder or instant coffee and a little bit of baking powder. Then we're going to add some water to make this into a paste. Could take 2 to 3 tablespoons. Start with 2 tablespoons and just kind of work it together with a whisk. It might take a while because that cocoa does not want to absorb the water. Just keep working it. Mine was very dry, so I went ahead and added that other tablespoon of water. Now let's get back to our reversed cream stuff over here. We're going to add the eggs to our dry. The reason I stopped is because once you wet this baking powder, it starts to activate. So add those eggs one at a time, beat in between, and when you don't see that last one, go ahead and add your next one. Go. And don't forget to stop and scrape. If you don't stop and scrape, you're going to have some bad surprises when you think you're finished. So always stop and scrape. Do it multiple times. Now this is starting to look like a really thick batter. Let's add in the buttermilk, and you want to go slowly. You want to create an emulsion. We do not want to break our emulsion here. You'll have a better cake, I promise. Just go slow. While we're waiting for this to mix in, this is a great time to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Share it with your friends. Thanks for helping me out. Guess what? It's time for a stop and scrape break. Stop and scrape. S&S. Stop and scrape. This cake really reminds me of my childhood. I don't know why, but marble cakes remind me of home. What cake reminds you of home? What reminds you of your childhood? Leave me a comment below and let me know. Yes, friends, yes, this takes time, but I promise it's worth it. Look at this beautiful batter. Now we've got to do our chocolate batter. So, you're going to take about a cup, or 240 milliliters, of your vanilla batter, and you're going to put it in the chocolate. I did not measure mine. Just go with the flow here. It's not that much. Just work it in, and you want to whip it till it's smooth. Get all that chocolate incorporated, and don't forget to stop and scrape this bowl too. Here we go, like that. Now the fun part, you're going to take part of your vanilla batter and put it in the pan, and then we're going to dollop in some of the chocolate, and then finish it off with some more vanilla. You can make layers if you like. This is the fun part. Have fun with it. It's art. It's edible art. Now, you can leave the dollops and leave it to chance, but I like to take matters in my own hands, and I smoothed it out kind of with the spatula. You do not have to do that. And you can even dig down a little bit and swirl it, but don't do it too much because we do want some distinct chocolate and vanilla layers. And then put the rest of your batter in. Once we have all that batter in, we're going to take a spatula or a butter knife and just kind of swirl through the batter. Make whatever pattern you like. Don't go too crazy. Again, we still want distinct layers. We're going to bake this in a 350 degree, 180 degree Celsius oven for about 40 to 45 minutes, and you'll know it's done. You can do the poke test, or you can touch it and it should spring back lightly with your finger like that, and let it cool before you flip it out. See, aren't you glad we did all that insurance with all that painting in of the pan? There we go. Now we need some glaze. So this is a tablespoon and a half, about 20 grams of butter that's room temperature, very soft. If it's not, you can melt it in the microwave a little bit, and then we're going to sift in some cocoa. You're going to need 21 grams of this stuff, or a quarter cup, and then we're also going to need 113 grams of confectioner's sugar and a little bit of water to bring this to consistency. Okay, you want to sift your powdered sugar and your cocoa because it has lumps, and that does not make a pretty frosting, people. Trust me, I've done it before. And then you have nuggets in your frosting. Nobody wants nugget frosting. After you've sifted those in, you're going to start stirring it. I used a spoon. You might want to use a whisk. That would have made this go faster, but you know, I'm stubborn and I got started with the spoon, and by golly, I'm going to use the spoon. Keep working it. We're almost there. So if you decide to be stubborn like me and use a spoon, when it wouldn't blend together, I just started mushing it against the side of the bowl at the back of the spoon. Be sure to scrape those sides. Once you've stirred in enough water to get it to the consistency you want, just go ahead and dollop it across the top of the cake. It will drip on its own. Do not try to apply it to the sides, you'll just make a mess. Gravity is your friend, only in the top. Look at the drip. If this isn't perfection, I don't know what is. I think the family's gonna love this one. Now this icing is a flat icing essentially, so it will set when you leave it sit for a while. It'll set harder, so you can cut this and have nice clean slices. If we cut it now, we might have a mess. And here we have it, our marble pound cake. Let's cut a slice and have a look-see at the inside. You can see it has a nice clean slice. It is kind of dense. It is a pound cake. And you can see the marbling where we swirled it in the different layers. It is moist. There we have it. Bon appetit, y'all. Try it out. Let me know if you do. Au revoir. See you next time. Go cook. Go cuisine.